You?
Hi, it's Unison Housing calling. How are you?
Oh, shit. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Shit.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? What do you want me to say? I have no home. Aren't you the housing people? Do you have a home?
Yes, we don't have a home. What did you mean by shit?
What are you trying to coerce from me? My shit life story? I'm shit
Uh,
because I have no home. You are the homeless people. What do you want from me?
I'm returning your call to see if you need homeless support, and we will have to do an assessment with you.
I've
You
already done
can,
the assessment and I've already sat through it and I've already had an advocate and I've already been through that. Why are you asking me to coerce what's shit in my life before you help me?
can you kindly provide your full name so I can have a look?
You already know who I am. It's Richard William McLean.
I don't know your last name. Can you spell that for me?
M for Mary, C for Clancy, L for Larry, E for Egg, A for Apple, N for Nelly. What is your name, please, madame?
My name's Rainy.
Rainy.
Yeah,
How do you spell that, please?
it's Raini.
Great. I'm homeless. You're the homeless support service. Can you help me?
I'll have to have a look at your file to see how I can best help you. Is that okay?
You should have looked at my file before you called me, I guess.
Okay, I'm sorry about that because I didn't know your
Oh,
family
that's
name.
okay. That's fine. You can look me up
Yeah.
now if you like. I'd be happy to receive some assistance.
Yep, no problem. I'll have a quick look.
And to answer your further question of why my life's shit, I'm being framed as a rapist, and I shouldn't have had to be coerced to admit that. And further to that, I can't go to police, I can't be a whistleblower, and I can't get a lawyer. And further to that, I'm a nationally celebrated figure, and now that I'm owed lots of money from my insurance, from work cover, from my former partner who was an ASIO agent, and from AFCA and the Australian Financial Complaints Commission, and also a malpractice case, and also my health insurance. Now that I'm owed multi-millions of dollars, they're trying to frame me with something that they're trying to coerce me to admit. And under the UN Charter of Civil Liberties, it's unlawful for powers that be, including the police and the government, to coerce you to admit something um, that is perceived vulnerability. You know what I mean? And further to that, this is the reason why I'm homeless. And every person I talk to holds a caveat. That caveat is that they know, or think they know, about me. And that's libel and slander. But do you know what's actually happening? I'm owed $500,000 from my former partner, Steve Isonides. I'm owed my work cover. It is absolutely essential that workers have work cover and that the government honour it. And I've been banned, my work cover, I've been banned from WorkSafe, and they still owe it to me to this very day. And the caveat they hold over me, which I know because they're exploiting my already existing disability by putting speakers in my room to say I'm a rapist and that I raped someone. And actually, that hasn't been tested in a court. So, in actual fact, what's occurring here is prejudice and a silent attack on me by proxy. And that's happened over many years. And in actual fact, this systemic government persecution, underpinned by key powerful figures, has already actually murdered me. I actually died in Werribee Mercy Hospital in February in 2021. And would you believe, even though it was a fatal injury and they revived me from certain death, that that I've now been forsaken as a person who has literally lived his life trying to help other people, lived life as a bloody saint, and has now been exploited by his seen existing vulnerabilities because people owe him money. And the government is his arch enemy. And the government are covering up the fact that him and Steve Isonides were in a relationship together for 5 years and engaged, and that he actually was exploited and used, and that this person owes Rich a legal, equitable settlement of assets. And on top of that, Richard has a disability, me. And he is required under the Human Rights Charter and the law to have a lawyer. It is not right that Richard go through life oppressed on his own and coerced to say things that he shouldn't or he doesn't need to, and be coercively managed by the authorities to have nothing and be robbed of prosperity systemically and all through his life. And currently he has no food, he has no home, he has no rights, he has no legal help, and that is in itself against the law. And in addition to that, he threatened to kill himself yesterday to the Attorney General. The NDIS have reduced his payment by $80,000, which would have seen him out of detriment. I lost $1 to $2 million at AFCA. I lost $1 million at the Australian Human Rights Centre, $500,000 from Steve Icenides, and another malpractice case in which a powerful lawyer framed me as an extortionist. Now, I wish to say to you that if you're not going to help me, and you're the homeless service and I need a home, that's really not sufficient for me. And in actual fact, I know for a fact that my reputation is out there and people abuse and oppress me, and they're hoping that they'll use this financial abuse to get me to admit to something which I've already atoned for, I've apologised for, and was totally consensual. So I wish to ask you now, what do you think of that story, and how are you going to help me now that I've been oppressed and literally murdered? The government murdered me, and then it was covered up by the same government that caused it, and now I'm being exploited and being coerced against the Human Rights Charter of the UN into admitting something that I don't have to admit and that I didn't do.
Okay, are you linked with any legal service before or currently?
No.
And do you wish to link to any service
Yes.
legally? Yeah? And would you like us to refer you to a legal service?
I would like you.
phone?
I would like you to get me a lawyer, please.
Yep. So that would be, so most of the legal service that we do, we don't work with them, but we do have some information from them, and they're mostly free legal advice. So consultation shouldn't be costing any of your penny, I assume. But I would suggest you to give them a call just to have a chat about that.
I've been murdered. The government murdered me, underpinned by powerful key political stakeholders. What about this don't you see as an emergency?
Yeah, well, I don't have much knowledge of that, so...
Oh, do you have knowledge of getting a house? Because I'm homeless.
I do have some knowledge of getting a house, but we are, even though we are homelessness local access point, we also do have very limited funding from the government.
Well, the government is my arch enemy. If you're funded by the government, you have already been informed to oppress and discriminate against me because of the reasons that I stated. Are you aware, ahead of time, before calling me, what the answer was for me asking for a home?
So what would you like to do as a next approach? Would you still like to be linked to Unison service, or would you like to take it up?
What do you mean, do I want to be linked to you? I'm calling you in order to get a home. Can I ask you personally, what did you know about this call before you made it, and were you informed that you were to tell me that the government doesn't have enough money in order to find me a home? Because that would be consistent with the oppression that I have suffered.
No, what I'm trying to...
I'll ask you a question. Please answer it.
Yeah, what was your question? Sorry.
What were you told before you made this call about giving me a home?
I wasn't told by anyone that to give you home, and because I wasn't able to get access to your file without knowing your full name, so I didn't know any of the information until I opened your file just then.
Do you work for the government?
No, I work for Unison, but Unison's funding is allocated by housing department,
Which department, please? Which department?
DFFH.
DFFS. Did you know that I've got an email from them and I asked for housing and they refused me? Do you want me to read that to you?
Was that from the big housing?
Pardon?
Was that from the Victoria Housing?
Yes, wait on. I'll just find it. Hang on, just one sec. Just can you wait there one sec? I've got this file here. I'll just look for it. So title. Well, I'll just look for file name. File name. Here we go. DFFS. This is my letter to Services Victoria. Can you just like listen to this? This is the evidence. Oh, I can't find it now. Hang on, just wait there. Just wait there for a sec.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Have a look. Listen to this. You wouldn't believe it. Oh, hang on. Here we go. It says the minister can't find me a house. The NDIA can't find me a house. The government can't find me a house, and Centrelink won't find me a house. And now DFFS has said that they don't supply places. Here we go. And the Office of Professional Practice, the OPP, the office is not able to provide you with direct assistance in the issues we have raised. May we suggest that the services provided by your local housing big office may assist you with your housing options. And did you know that I've been absolutely categorically scapegoated? And in addition to that, I've literally been murdered. What about this story don't you see as particularly interesting, given that I'm a publicly known figure, and that you are the local housing person, and that you stand in the way of me getting a house?
I think it would be a lot better if I get one of my colleagues to call you, because I don't know how to respond to this situation.
Why don't you know how to respond? It's really, really easy. You're the homeless office, and you are refusing to get back to me. So I've just said, can I just read this email? Tenancy matters. This is who I emailed. Hello, I've been oppressed. I'm squatting with no food, have just come out of a psychiatric hospital. Basically, I had an issue, untenable with work and income assist, and work cover refused to pay, and they still don't refuse. My former partner owes me $500,000 and is an ASIO agent who attacks via proxy attack. I was incarcerated in March 2021 and suicided in the hospital, but survived a fatal injury. I did not get care and I was rejected from that service. I barely have a GP or psychologist or psychiatrist or even medication. I now have an acquired brain injury and addiction issues regarding memory, and my rent is $1,646 a month, and I'm months behind with a warning for eviction. This is back in when was it? Ages ago. Rent has nearly eclipsed my pension. I have lived nearly as a vagrant for a year. I have a doctorate and systemically oppressed. When you do a doctorate, ethics means do no harm. And I was oppressed by the government. Will you please help relieve my rent? I don't know what to do, and I'm hungry. My mum and dad dropped off a chicken and dog food and gave me $60, and that's all the support I have. And the Footscray Housing at dffs.vic.gov.au said, thank you for the email. Unfortunately, DFFH does not provide financial assistance for rental arrears. Please find attached a list of agencies that may be able to provide you financial support. And that's signed the Footscray Office of Housing. I wish to say that you are that person. Why are you towing the party line to not even give me the opportunity of having a home when you're exactly the place I should go to find one?
I definitely do not have give you opportunities. You have all the opportunities to explore housing options.
But you're the direct person. I'm homeless. You're the homeless service. Why won't you help me?
We can help you. Can you tell me how we can best help you?
Yes, find me a house. I'm homeless.
We do have a different housing. So there's crisis accommodation, there's immediate and long-term housing.
I don't know what you understand about this systemic persecution, which I've really, with much clarity, explained to you explicitly, right then, right now. But you are my only hope, because I have no friends, I have no family. The government has exploited me and robbed me of millions of dollars, and I'm being set up to be coerced to admit something that I didn't do. What about this situation don't you see is an emergency?
Richard, I think I'll get one of my colleagues to call you because maybe I do have very little understanding from...
Don't know speak of the English? Jesus Christ. Can you please get someone to call me back? Because I am homeless. You are the homeless people. And you say you don't understand? It's very clear. I'm homeless, you're the homeless people. Put two and two together. Otherwise, why aren't you helping me?
Okay, I'll get someone to call you.